Ooh. Mmm. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, for the very first time, I have made a spaghetti squash situation. I really love twice baked potatoes and I wanted to do like a twice baked spaghetti squash, basically baking it once, kind of forking the squash, releasing all of the spaghetti-ness, and then mixing that with a bunch of stuff. So we've got Italian sausage, spinach, artichokes. I made this lemony roasted garlic like sauce dressing. It could really be used as both. And then I topped the whole thing with fontina cheese. At the very end, it was like in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes and all the cheese like melted, but it didn't get brown on top. So I just like put on the broiler, got it all nice and brown on top. Honestly, it smells delicious. You know I love pasta, and so I will not love it as much as I would if it was pasta. But I really, like, I found the spaghetti squash like a couple of months ago. These things stay good for so long. And I was like, I have to film with that. It's obviously enormous. All right, guys. Cheers. I got my forking love you fork. Let's get into this. Say a little prayer that we like it even half as much as we would with pasta. I don't know what's happening over there, but my cat is getting into some things. Oh, fontina. Doing things. I want to get some spinach and artichoke in there too. I think he's in my Christmas present. I really do. I really do. Your father is not going to appreciate this. Oh, but what's this? But what's this? All right, don't want you to fall in the spaghetti squash. I thought it might be like when you put a cat over a bathtub and they just start paddling. Kitten! It's freaking cat. I'm telling you what. All right, guys, let's do this. That is so good. I wasn't gonna add the sausage, and last minute I was like, well, felt like it needed something a little bit more substantial, a little fatty, and so I picked up some sausage, and I'm so glad that I did. You could certainly try to make it without, especially obviously if you're like vegan or vegetarian, make it without cheese if you really want to. The vinaigrette is really good, really lemony, and I love lemon and artichoke and spinach together. The squash is like a little sweet too, and it's gotten like caramelized in some parts. This is very good. There's a lot of nice textures in here. Nice and salty, but still tastes fresh. The lemon vinaigrette, sort of bringing it all together. A nice hit of this, nice I did it again. Nice hit of acidity. Jesus. Like, want more of the sausage, probably like not as evenly distributed as it could be. Quite the presentation, right? So if you found a big one like this, you just serve like the whole thing in the center of the table, family style, or you can get smaller spaghetti squash, which would be probably way easier to find anyways, and just serve them as individual portions. I need to find a giant potato. You don't know how happy it would make me to do a giant twice baked potato video with like steak in it. Oh, guys, I don't really eat steak all that often, but when I do, I love a baked potato with it. So just so you guys know, I just posted my turkey tetrazzini video today, the day I'm filming this. And I know, I can't remember if it was in that video or in the video after that that I posted, which was the Induja Carbonara, where I asked you guys to write questions that you have for me in the comments. So I'm not answering them today because of that. But I will be taking a look at them and answering them in another video. I think next time I'll add more roasted garlic into the sauce. It's not like super in your face and I really want it to be. I love roasted garlic. You know what also would be delicious with this is if you were like not afraid of carbs or anything, you got like a crusty baguette and just sort of like scooped this like spaghetti squash situation all over the top of it. Oh my gosh. Wow. Parmesan would be so good in here too. If you mixed it in with the veg and the sausage and like the lemony garlic vinaigrette and then topped it with more cheese. Of course I want to add more cheese. I'm so sad. We're leaving tomorrow for Florida and don't want to leave my baby kittens. He's just hanging out on the windowsill. Such a cutie pie. So while we're gone, we're using this service for them. We don't like moving the cats. It's just too stressful for them. They hate car rides, really, unfortunately. But there's a service called Rover. It's an app and you can find like people to house sit for you and your pets, or just like come and like feed your pets while you're away, or like walk your dogs or whatever. So we found somebody on Rover. Normally it's like, oh, we don't know these people. The guy who we picked like came over, met with us and everything, so we feel pretty good about it. And of course there's like the paper trail of it it's documented that this person will be here, so we feel generally okay because of that too. And I'm just gonna, you know, we have our neighbor here too, just in case anything like funny happens, but more often than not, it ends up being fine. We actually had hired somebody else, just word of mouth, to come watch the cats, but she couldn't come over the holiday this year. I just hate the thought of leaving them home alone by themselves. I feel like they're just like so sad that we're not here with them and so lonely. They need another human to like distract them from the loneliness. And they need somebody, we need somebody to distract Butters from terrorizing Oliver 24/7. Poor thing. That sausage is so good. Oh my gosh. Kitchen. He's sniffing some leftover cheese. Does that smell good? The cheese actually is like super funky smelling, so I'm surprised he's not like... I was just going to tell you guys something and then I totally forgot what it was that I was going to say. Shane is going to love this. The other half for him. With more of the filling and everything. He won't have it with cheese because he's just... But he will add all of the stuff to it and the lemon vinaigrette, so it won't be as good with the cheese, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. You look so statuesque, dear. He's like on the kitchen counter, sitting, just like looking over me, because I'm like kind of close to the floor. So I'm thinking of getting a nose ring. It's like a little stud situation. I feel like my nose has like a nice little like divot for it, you know? I think it'd be super cute. Every now and then I'm like, I'm bored. What can I do? Well, Shane and I have an agreement that I won't get any more tattoos. And as long as I don't do that, he won't get a motorcycle, because I hate motorcycles. So I don't want a tattoo bad enough where I would be willing to have him get a motorcycle. I just feel like it's a death machine. And I had a family member, one family member in particular, that had a very, very bad experience with a motorcycle. And I am like, absolutely not. I just don't see the point. I get like the idea of the rush, but like, go to an amusement park, ride roller coasters. I don't know. If you've got a family, I don't see the point in risking your life, because people just don't look for motorcycles, you know? And if you get in an accident on a motorcycle, it's like way worse than if you were to get in an accident in a car. I'll tell you what happened. I won't tell you like the specifics about who it was, but one of my family members, when she was 16, I believe she was 16, 15, 16, something like that, in high school, and got hit by another car while she was on a motorcycle and ended up in the hospital for a period of time. She missed her prom. She was in the hospital for a while. After she was released from the hospital and she recovered and everything, one of her legs, from like everything that they had to do, ended up being like half an inch to an inch shorter than the other. I don't remember the exact amount, but one leg ended up being longer than the other. And so she had to wear a lift in her shoe for the rest of her life. And she couldn't walk barefoot or do certain things that like you couldn't add a lift to, like rollerblading or roller skating, stuff like that. So she ended up getting leg lengthening surgery. And this was when I was in high school. And I just remember the process of that, like her having to get the leg lengthening surgery, and it's like a cage around your leg with these poles going through it and these cranks on the side. And when you go in, they like crank it again, and they like would give her like really heavy drugs and say like, your femur could snap at any moment, so here you go. It's like, what? Terrifying, terrifying stuff. Like, and this recovery from that, I mean, this was a year's process. It wasn't like, oh, you put this thing on for a few months, your leg's gonna be longer. No, it was like at least 2 years, maybe even double that. I mean, it was just so ridiculous how long. And so all because somebody didn't look for a motorcycle. You know, it's not necessarily about who's driving it, though sometimes that is the problem. It's that nobody is looking, especially when people are kind of going like in between lanes and they're weaving in and out. People are especially not looking for you, and that is exactly what my husband would do. He would definitely be a weaver. And he's all like an adrenaline junkie. They're like, one life to live, YOLO, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, YOLO, but there's other ways to get that sort of adrenaline rush. And when you've got a family, we don't have any kids, but hi, what am I? You know, I'm important. I don't want him to not live his life. I just don't think it's entirely necessary to put yourself in like particularly dangerous situations regularly, which that would be regularly. I don't know if you guys have seen or watched America's Got Talent, but there's a couple that is actually in the Vegas show we just saw when we went there, called Deadly Games. Something like Deadly Games if it's not exactly Deadly Games. Either way, this guy throws knives at, well, his new fiance. He started the show with his wife, and everyone's like, wow, it's crazy, you know, don't you have a kid? And you're just able to like throw knives at your wife. Like, what if you missed and killed her? Now he's divorced and engaged to another performer, but it's still like, I guess those people are really okay with dying tomorrow. If they, I mean, not him, because he's the one throwing the knives. That's the other thing. It's like, man. Does he have a complex, I wonder? How is he regularly putting himself at risk to die? You know, or is he just like throwing knives like, ha ha ha, nothing could happen to me, blah, blah, blah. I clearly value my life and I want to be here a long time. Ooh, hot. My nose is a little stuffy right now. And when I'm chewing, I like can't breathe. I'm like, after I swallow. By the way, this is just the same bottle of Pinot Noir. It clearly takes me a while to drink one bottle of wine. These, by the way, if you are like me and you do not drink one bottle of wine in one sitting, these are the best things ever. Restaurants have them, like all restaurants I feel like have these. They're sold at Total Wine. They're like $10. And I can't remember if it comes with one of these or two of these, but it's got this or two of them and this like pump that fits right on here, and you pump all the air out. When it clicks twice, that means all the air has been sucked out of the bottle, and it preserves the wine a little bit longer. Not as much as those like Coravins. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but restaurants that have like some really, really nice wines that they don't want to open, but they want to be able to offer by the glass. It's like this needle thing that goes into the cork, and you're able to pour a glass of wine through the cork without it actually being open. So really neat. Those are like $200 or $250 or something ridiculous. These way more affordable, and I'm not buying like $100 bottles of wine, and if I were, I probably would just still use this. Great stocking stuffer. Like, oh my gosh. Something everybody will use unless they don't drink or they don't drink wine. Something anybody who loves wine will use. You guys are watching this after Christmas too, so you know, for next year. This year, every year has been going by so fast. It feels like ever since I was out of school, time just goes by faster and faster and faster. Ever since I started like really working and not just like serving tables, but I wish time would slow down. Botox is only going to work for so long, you know? I don't know how many years I'm going to look like this. All right, guys, I really wanted to finish this, but I feel good. So one more bite, then I'm gonna stop. This turned out so good. I was worried. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't think I was gonna be able to film today, and I made it happen. And it hasn't even like gotten dark out yet. It's 4 o'clock. It's gonna get dark in 30 minutes. It's really the perfect time to end. I know it's like not as bright as it was when we first started, but you know, counting it as a win. I gave myself a pat on the back the other day. It's happening again. Good for you, Lindsay. We have to really recognize these accomplishments every time. Well, on that note, I literally have so much to do before we leave tomorrow, and all I want to do is spend time with my cat. All I want to do, cats, but you know, Oliver doesn't really hang, so I would love to just spend time with you, Butters. Butters, come here, baby. You're just so stinking cute. Look at you. Look at you and your cute kitten booty. Look at it. I love this cat too much. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I really hope that you decide to make it for yourself. Of course, I don't expect you to necessarily be able to find a spaghetti squash this big, but if you do, totally get it. It's so fun. Comment below what other kind of comfort food, wintry type foods you want to see me make next. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for joining today. I just really love you guys. I appreciate the hell out of you. And I'll see you guys